Well, good morning, everyone. Welcome to Norfolk and the Roe Doe cull. Now, this doe was shot at 220 metres from the doe box with a 270 using 130 grain whitetail ammunition from Hornady. You can see here on the exit side of the animal, we've got a good splattering of blood, a little bit of hair going up into the grass there. So, not that she did run, but if she had run, we've got a good point where we can find paint and pins for the dog to start. Now, I want to talk to you this morning about shot placement. So this doe has been shot here, just behind the front shoulder, with a 270, 130 grain. Now, the exit side, as I've said, has produced quite a good blood trail if you needed it, and there's your exit wound. Now, a lot of game dealers will be horrified at this. Well, that's wasting the venison. You're going to lose about that much venison, tennis ball size, on the brisket, where there's not a very thick covering of meat anyway. And this drive, which I keep seeing time and time again on social media, for people to shoot them in the neck and in the head. Right, so this is the neck of a roe, okay? Coming down here, you've got the width of my finger to actually hit the vertebra, the actual neck bone, okay? If you don't hit that neck, you won't sever the spinal column. If you don't sever it, the animal will suffer. If you go high, you'll hit the flesh, and you'll take all this off, and the animal will go off, and it will probably get an infection. May not die, and you'll probably pick it up in a cull later on, but unnecessary suffering. If it goes low, you're going to hit the trachea or the esophagus, which runs alongside it. If you nick the esophagus, it can no longer ruminate. There is always food material going up and down the esophagus. Now, that's how the animal is ruminating. It eats, swallows, goes down, comes round into the rumen, comes back up again, and is chewed again to be re-swallowed. So you will always find green material in the esophagus. If you sever the esophagus with your bullet, then the transport of food back and forth can no longer happen. And once the reserves in the rumen have been used, once they are basically empty, once the rumen has been completely depleted of its resources, you will end up with a starving deer, which we don't want. Now, if you hit the windpipe, the trachea, okay, the trachea, you can see here as I push on the trachea, the air coming out of the nostrils. So that's the trachea. If you hit the trachea, the animal can't breathe. So it may be able to eat, but it can't breathe, not successfully anyway. So that's another long, lingering death for the animal. So people say, oh, well, I shoot them in the back of the head. Well, that's very good. Well done. That's how much you've got, the width of a thumbnail on a roe deer head, to shoot them in the back of the head. Front of the head, width of a thumbnail, to shoot them in the front of the head. Side, width of the thumbnail. So you have to ask yourself, if you're going to be shooting animals in the head and in the neck, can you consistently hit a thumbnail target at the distances that you're proposing to shoot your, in this case, a roe deer? Now, I know there's a lot of people out there who are shooting deer in the head because it produces a cleaner carcass and it looks beautiful and they get more venison. But for me, it's about the actual respect for the animal. It's not about the venison carcass. The venison carcass is a very, very good resource generated from the need to cull deer. And the most humane way to cull deer, as far as I'm concerned, is to stick it in the engine room. So there you go. That's opened the floodgates. I'm sure everyone will have an opinion on this, but that's my opinion for what it's worth. Have a good day, everyone.